the other national team that we have to talk about today, and that is the men's national team in preparation for Trinidad and Tobago. 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. We'll have coverage all week long here on One Soccer Today, and of course, a full match day live. But Gareth Wheeler, we get closer to the match. You, as the man to call it, start to wonder who's going to start. If you had it your way, or you can take it as what you might expect more Biello to do, share with us your starting 11 for Saturday.
Yeah, I have no intel and probably don't have a job description to put me in a position to choose a starting 11. But the one glaring issue that Biello has this weekend is he's playing without a traditional left back. Yes, Alphonso Davies plays there for club, not typically play for Canada at that position. Kamal Miller has played left back for Canada before, but there's a bunch of these fullback, wingback hybrids. They're even listed on the Canadian squad sheet that the association sent out. There's one natural fullback being Alistair Johnson. Everyone's like a fullback / forward or winger. So this is kind of and a lot of them just play the exact same way down the left-hand side. Liam Miller, Alphonso Davies, Jacob Schaffelberg. So I think that Biello's not going to have much choice other than to go to a back three. And that's what I think it will look like with two fullbacks or wingbacks. My only question is if he plays a 3-4-3 or plays more of a 3-5-2 like they did against Japan. I think that you can make a realistic case that the back three picks itself to a certain degree. Johnston, Waterman, and Kamal Miller. Then I have Davies wide left. I have Buchanan wide right. And then I have Eustachio and Kone in the central midfield. I probably add Chouanier to that team as my first choice, allowing Kone to be maybe a little bit more free in terms of playing some more attacking football with David and Laren up top. I think that would be my first choice. If he wants to go in a little bit of a different way in that formation, Liam Miller, who's on great form, playing in the championship, he can play wide left in the Davies role, and he could push Davies forward, and him and Laren could play underneath David, or him and David play underneath Laren, some sort of iteration of that. So those are kind of the two decisions that I think that Biello needs to decide upon. I'm not sure if you guys have any feelings about that, but based upon really not having a left back, they always play better with Anakubi in the team when he's back there. It provides a little bit more coverage in that area. And I think that's paramount, just protecting yourself against a counterattack in this game against Trinidad and Tobago. Add an extra number to midfield and try to dominate that area of the park, because they should have enough talent in terms of the personnel to find a goal or two going forward.
Ollie has that mischievous, crooked smile, so I'm expecting...
Ollie, I'd love for you to go first. I like the lineup, but go ahead, Ollie.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I'd play 4-4-2 personally. I think Davies should just play left back. He does it for Bayern Munich. He can do it against Trinidad and Tobago, and that allows you. I'd like to see Liam Miller. I think he's having a really good season in England in the Championship. He's a bit of a different player. Obviously will come inside more and play, I think, in the central spaces a little bit more. And Davies on the overlap, that makes sense to me. So I'd go with, it can become a back three in possession because we know Johnston can kind of shift. But for me, I think they generally they have tended to look, most on the same page when they're defending in a 4-4-2. And I think Davies is capable of doing it against this level of opponent. The one other one I think is at least up for debate. Joe Waterman is playing well right now. If you're playing a back three, I think he probably makes sense in the middle of it. That's the role he's playing for CF Montreal. But Bombito with Colorado looks like a player who has taken a big step forward this year. Like, I watched their game this weekend, turned off the Montreal game at 3-1 because I thought it was done to watch Colorado. But Bombito was impressive. Like, this is a guy who just has a different level of athleticism, I think, to a lot of other Canada centre backs. In one-on-one duels, he's very good. He's mobile. He's good on the ball as well. So he's not a liability in that sense. This is a player that I could see taking some steps forward in a Canada jersey pretty quickly, and we've seen how quickly it can accelerate with players like Johnston and Buchanan over the past few years. So I would not be surprised at all, particularly if they do play a back four or defend in a back four, if Bombito's in the starting lineup.
Jordan Wilson.
Interesting. Ollie, on Friday, I said I gave you a backhanded compliment, but I kind of agree with you a little bit. More before, because I've said, they're going to play a back three, and then sometimes they go and play a back four. I think this time, Alphonso Davies is the best left back in the world. Play him at left back. I feel like carving out a position or something to play on the left wing back. Play him as a left back.
I feel like
Play
Bill
him.
Murray and Groundhog Day. We've been here before.
We will continue to be here for many years.
Play him as a left back. There's
This is our
ways,
life now,
Wheels. You
Wheels.
can tweak it. You can put, as I said, you can put Asa Johnston, Bombito, and Kamal Mill and have them shift and play a 3 and keep him high. But play him as a left back. If you're looking at the squad, there's no one else that could really do a role at that spot. And if it plays, I like having the 2 up top. I know when you play a 3-5-2, you can still have it that way. But if you're playing 4-4-2, you stack, Kone, like play him as a left back. I think that it could work. And I think on the day, there might be a situation that happens. So I don't mind that. I don't mind the flat back 4.
Point counterpoint. You need another extra player in the midfield, in my opinion, playing against a team that's going to be really they're very good in their structure, Trinidad and Tobago. I think they're really well managed. You're telling me that the coaching staff's going to say, our left side of the field in a 4-4-2 is Davies and Miller? Like 2 really attack-minded players and not be able to provide ample cover in that area going on the counterattack when those 2 players go way forward. I don't think that that's the right mix, the right combination of players. I love both those players, but in combination, is it too much of the same thing? And I think that might need that's why I think add that extra player in the midfield. You can have Eustachio or whoever drop and push out the back 3 a little bit. So that's what I do.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing, like, you could put Kone on the left and then you can get Schwanier in midfield and solidify it that way. Like, I don't have any objection to that, but I'm not worried at all about Alphonso Davies playing left back in this game. Like, come on. With respect to Trinidad and Tobago, he's capable of doing that. And particularly against a team like this, it's going to play in transition. Like, Davies almost suits that to me. So I'd be very surprised if he's not playing there.
It's also just depends the way you look at it. Like, you're talking about midfield, I totally get it. So valid or counter from TNT, but then I'm thinking this is a Canadian side that should put this team away first half. Like, go play a 4-4-2.
Go for it.
Go in their box and make sure that you show the quality of Laren and David. And again, there's nothing wrong playing a 3-5-2. You can still get the job done. I'm just saying, just go about your business. Make sure that you dictate the tempo of the match, and then don't worry about the counterattack, but take care of the game so early in the match that is obsolete. That's how I feel about going into Saturday.
I'm going to interject here because Ali rightfully put it. We will have this debate for many a year and also many a day this week in preparation for the match. And I want to save time for the kits. I'm just thinking about the CF Montreal flavor in a world where we get Kone, Schwanier, Johnston, Waterman, Miller, and Crepeau technically from 2017 in the academy. That'd be pretty nice for the CF Montreal supporters out there. Let's talk about Liam Fraser. He's in for Jonathan Osorio. Let's go back to Jordan on it. How big of a loss is Zoso as he misses out due to injury?
Yeah, a huge loss just in the squad as well in the continuity. But to Wheels' point last week, now this is just a Canadian side that doesn't have a player in the camp that's over 30. And I think that's what sticks out to me as well, like this new wave of Canada. Oso's kind of that guy that has been connecting. Yeah, you have the junior Horlets that have kind of connected the generations a little bit, this new wave. But you're seeing young talent. I think that's a good thing to point out as you're going in to this game. But for me, I know Oso, when he's healthy, he'll be playing. He'll be one of the first guys coming off the bench or sometimes starting matches. But yeah, it's nice to see this new wave, this young talent for Canada.
This Canada side will not have a player over the age of 30 in it. That is remarkable. And Biello has gone on to speak about how it's time for new leaders to emerge and they need their space and they need their time. Well, the time is now in a must-win game with the stakes of getting into Copa America, playing Lionel Messi on the line. That's a lot of responsibility for young players. I'm actually a little bit surprised there isn't a couple older heads maybe in and about the team to try to bring some calm or maybe even a different perspective to the equation. Beyond that, I think that you could make a case that Jonathan Osorio would have been suited to start this game for all the reasons that I said. Adding that other player to the midfield, Osorio, a little bit more of a tactician, the work rate, what he brings to the table, I think he would have been a perfect player to go on and be in that starting 11. So the fact that he's dealing with this hip issue, it's a huge loss. It's a weird injury around a time where there's a Canada camp. So to go along with Larea out of Kubi, Canada's missing some. They might not be the headline makers in this Canada squad, but some really serviceable players that give you a different element. I'm fine with Fraser coming back in. You might need that holding midfielder to see out a game. I think that's why you have players like him and Piet if they end up going on to take a lead, and you need to preserve it in this game. But Osorio, I just don't think there's a central midfield player. Kind of like it, and it's just the different roles that he can play.
Okay, we know what Canada will be wearing on Saturday. We didn't until 7:05 Eastern Time this morning. A lot of people waking up to two brand new kits for both the men's and women's national teams. And of course, these debates always run rampant on social media. It is a part of a Nike launch. Canada's not the only nation to see their federation kits unveiled. And to call them polarizing, Oliver Platt, would be a bit of an understatement. There is the, quote, street style swoosh from Nike, which is about the same width as the Canada Soccer crest on the home reds, the two-tone reds on the sleeves, because burgundy is apparently a color that Canada uses on a regular basis. That one is the polarizing one, or the more so, with the half-white collar as well. The whites, they have 13 vertical lines down the middle for the provinces and territories here. That street style swoosh goes to the right. And let's just pick up the debate from there. I know I have no background at LVMH. I know you're quite the stylish guy. What do you make of this?
Thank you. Well, firstly, I'll say that, like, you got to put out photos of people wearing them. Like, those photos look bad, right? Like, and they look so much better when they're being worn by someone. So I don't mind them personally. If you look at the pictures that I think Nike put out where a person is actually wearing them, I think they look better than this. I prefer the away kit to the home kit by a pretty decent margin. But I've never loved like a centralized logo. Sorry. So it's not my favorite. I don't think it's terrible. I'm okay with them. I think Canada's going to look fine playing in them. I think they'll probably get a new one before 2026 anyway, which is the big deal. I'm kind of on the fence indifferent, to be honest.
On the fence, Ollie. Wheels, you're never on the fence. What do you think?
What else is new? On the fence, Ollie. Here we go.
This is to be fair, I don't think I've been on the fence a lot on the important topics recently.
That's fair. Yes,
yeah.
just this fair, one that everyone's talking about. He doesn't have an opinion.
Wheels was on the fence the other day. Jordan was
Sorry, just
on
got
the fence the other day.
Taken away by a massive gust of wind, or more like in hot air, Ollie. That was so not true. Look, kids are subjective. I haven't checked what people say online because, quite frankly, I don't care. And I like to make up my own decision, to be honest with you. There's a couple elements. The best part of this kit is on a place where no one will see it. The Canada writing, the vintage Canada writing on the inside. That should be on the outside of the kit. That'd be my first criticism. I don't really like when the badge is here. I think that the crest should be always over your heart. That's just me as a stickler on that. So the red kit. And my only other comment, the only reason why I don't like the stripes on the white kit is because there's 13 of them that are supposed to represent the provinces and territories. 13 for me personally is just a massively unlucky number. I don't know why you'd want 13 on anything. Get it away. I just think that that's a bad omen. So those are my only takes on these.
This bodes well for the Confederacy. Jordan, 13. Your take.
Man,
that just
look, I saw it this morning. I was rolling out of bed. I said, beautiful Monday morning. On the red jersey, we'll start with that. We already mentioned having the logo in the middle. Yeah, it's just okay. But then the burgundy, you mentioned it, Jenko. I said, where's the burgundy come from?
We're a country that loves our wine.
Is that burgundy?
It's a nod to the Niagara and interior mainland.
It's
BC
not a
regions.
Canadian color.
It's like a deep red.
For example, it's not okay. The deep red.
A Cab Franc.
It looks like a Cab Sav. It looks like some wine. Look, I don't really mess with it. But then the collar as well with the white. But Wheels brings up the biggest point with the Canada. You like that vintage part. It'd be nice right underneath the collar. Also getting the number in that font as well. Beautiful. I actually don't mind the white one. Wheels brings up a point I never thought about, 13 being an unlucky number. But then I'm just like, you could also have a career like a Tiba Hutchinson with the number 13.
I know.
And go on and play forever and ever. But I like the white. The white for me, I would wear like casually. The red, it's busy. And I just don't like busy uniforms. It looks very busy to me.
By the way, we should all point out it's kind of irrelevant what we think, because upon reflection, we should point out that Canada signed this deal for basically equipment only. Nike doesn't pay the Canadian Soccer Association anything for the honor of designing our country's kits. The deal was pushed by players and the women's national team years ago. It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal for Canada Soccer. Brings no money to the association. So I like how there's a little bit of customization and thought behind this for once. That's a step in the right direction. but is the utmost importance the next kit deal when it comes up that you negotiate to actually make the association money. Interesting.
Certainly one we will watch. Also curious to see white shorts returning to the women's national team. That's been out since 2019 for some very good reasons. We got to get Tony Bet real quick. We have some soccer lines to bring you. Presented by Tony Bet. I said soccer lines. It's soccer line.
No.
Is desperate to
this is really tight over a sweater
because I picked up the slack today. We're just going to do one. It's going to be Finland and Wales. Gareth Wheeler for the qualifying spot to Euros. Wales -10, baby. Let me hear it.
I'm taking Wales, but Ollie, what are you wearing? Bring Ollie up. That's the tightest kit. Is that Finland?
Well, it's over a sweater. Like, I didn't anticipate.
You did it well, Ollie.
It's a Finnish
You did
kit.
well.
I didn't want him full screen for this reason.
Some Welsh bias on this show, so I thought I had to kind of battle.
Well, I'll tell you what. When you try to take it off, that kit is going to be finished. It's going to rip and tear. You're going to have to cut it off.
Ollie, quick change, Platt. Take the Welsh at -120, -110. Folks. Thanks for joining us today. We got to get out of here. More on OSD tomorrow. Thanks for watching.